Many corporations have begun decorating their halls with motivational posters. Lovely. In hopes of boosting their employees' motivation to work productively. Let's hope that works. Good luck. See a picture of a mountain? Is that going to make you work harder? However, almost all employees at these corporations are already motivated to work productively. Wow, congratulations. That doesn't sound like the typical situation, but almost all employees at these corporations are already motivated. So these corporations' use of motivational posters is unlikely to achieve its intended purpose. Well, I see two problems actually here. One, the sentence right before it said almost all employees at these corporations are already motivated, but that suggests that maybe some of them aren't. So these posters certainly could help them. I'm also, what was the goal? It says, so these corporations' use of motivational posters is unlikely to achieve its intended purpose. What was the intended purpose? It was they were put up in hopes of boosting their employees' motivation to work productively. If you want to boost it, that means you want to make it higher. Okay, so it said that they're already motivated to work productively, but couldn't you be more motivated? So these are the two issues I see with this argument. There might be more, but I don't love it for that reason, for those two reasons. Okay, the question says, the reasoning in the argument is most vulnerable to criticism on the grounds that the argument, I predict, will say one of those two things. The correct answer is probably going to go after one of those two problems. A, fails to consider whether corporations that do not currently use motivational posters. We're not talking about companies that don't use them. We're talking about the companies that do. So I don't care about this. B, takes for granted, in other words, assumes that with respect to their employees' motivation to work productively, corporations that decorate their halls with motivational posters are representative of corporations in general. The conclusion wasn't about corporations in general. It was about these corporations. So I don't care about other corporations. Just like A, B is wrong. C, fails to consider that even if motivational posters do not have one particular beneficial effect for corporations, they may have similar effects that are equally beneficial. Sure, it didn't consider other positive benefits, but again, that's not what the conclusion is about. The conclusion is, will these posters achieve or not achieve their intended purpose? It's not about whether they'll achieve other purposes as well. So we don't care about those other benefits. D, does not adequately address the possibility that employees' productivity is strongly affected by factors other than employees' motivation to work productively. I should have stopped reading this answer choice early on. When it says does not adequately address the possibility that employee productivity, this argument isn't about productivity at the end of the day. It's ultimately about employees' motivation to work productively. So I don't care about their actual productivity. Anyways, E. It fails to, hopefully this is right. It fails to consider that even if employees are already motivated to work productively, okay, yeah, which was the case here, motivational posters may increase that motivation. Yeah, they may end up working even more, or they may end up being more productive or more, I'm making the same mistake I almost made in D. They're going to end up being more motivated, right? That's certainly a possibility. That was one of my objections to this argument. So that's confusing relative and absolute terms. The argument said that they were already motivated. That doesn't mean they can't be more motivated. So we're going from absolute to relative. Anyways, that's the problem. E is correct. Questions? Brett.
Me again. So one thing that I consistently have trouble with is not being able to eliminate answers quickly. I read it and then I think about it and then I eliminate it. So with D, you said you eliminated it at productivity.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I should
Um,
have. Yeah.
what what about everything that you had read previous to that made you think that one, it's not saying what you like so far, and two, it probably won't say anything after that that I like?
Okay. So one thing about answers is that if something is inconsistent with the passage, then I can get rid of it regardless of how good the rest of the answer is. So every word in the correct answer has to be good. And so the reason I can ignore the rest is when this answer choice said does not adequately address the possibility that employee productivity, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe it didn't address the possibility that employee productivity is whatever they're about to say. I'm going to stop there and I'm going to say, wait a sec, this conclusion was ultimately about boosting their employees' motivation to work productively, presumably because they wanted to improve work productivity, but they actually never talked about that. So because they never talked about that, we don't worry about whether that goal is ever accomplished.
Okay, so this is actually something I practice sometimes with being able to eliminate answers quickly. What I would have done if that were me practicing this skill is say, okay, I don't like it totally, but I can't really eliminate it, and I would have read farther to see if something was in there maybe that I liked, because I would have thought of, okay, I don't like it, but I can't. There could be something later on that makes that make more sense, I guess. And so I guess I'm wondering, are you completely eliminating it there and not going back to it, or are you just saying,
Yes.
yeah, I don't like it. I'll see if something else comes up that I like better. Which one of those are you doing?
I'm really saying I don't like it, therefore it's wrong.
Okay.
And then I'm moving on. Now, one thing to think about here, Brett, is if you didn't read the answer choice at all, and someone came and they put a gun to your head and said, okay, what do you think? Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Your best bet is to guess that it's wrong, since 4 of these are wrong.
Yeah.
So if you already don't like something about it, before you even read it, you should be against it. You're biased.
Yeah.
You're biased against it. Now you have something you don't like about it. You're like, okay, we're really done. It's like going into a date with preconceived notions of already like, I hate this. I don't want to be here, right? My friend set me up with their sister-in-law. I've already heard negative things about her. Wait, that would be weird. Sister-in-law. Okay, anyways, so that example doesn't work, but okay, whatever. You're getting set up with somebody, right? And you're just like already have a negative view. And then as soon as they say something like, oh, blah, 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 and you're like, okay, we're done. This is it. We don't need to have the rest of the date. So that's how you should treat these answer choices.
Okay, and so that's wrong just because the prompt was talking about the intended purpose of the motivational quotes, and the answer choice was talking about productivity, and because they're talking about two different things, done, don't need to read anymore.
Yes, the intended purpose. You do have to ask yourself, what was the intended purpose? If the intended purpose was to increase productivity,
The intended purpose is motivation and not
yes, that's it. So we're done. Yep.
I picked D. I just wanted to know why you eliminated D so quickly, because that's something I struggle with, not being able to do a lot of. So, interesting analogy that you had aside.
Sorry. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions on this one?